This is the Moza Racing sim racing ecosystem. You've probably never heard of them, and just a few days back I hadn't either. That's because they're the newest competitor in the top of the range sim racing market, and they certainly didn't come to mess around. Today I'll be unboxing and giving my first impressions on all of their current sim racing offerings, which included direct drive wheelbase, an Alcantara wheel rim, a load cell pedal set, among many other notable things. And of course, be on the lookout for the in-depth review I will be releasing on all of these products within the next few weeks. Let's start off by unboxing the wheelbase. This is a 16Nm direct drive wheelbase, which I think most of us can admit looks absolutely stunning. Taking a look around the box, you find a few details on the wheel, including a graphic which shows the two color options available. On the back of the box you also find the rest of Moza Racing's products, which we'll be unboxing in just a few seconds. Opening it up, everything is tightly packaged in styrofoam and arrived perfectly intact. The first thing you receive is the power supply, which is by far the biggest I've ever seen. Its corresponding cables and the wheelbase itself, which comes wrapped inside this black pouch. Without a doubt, the biggest first impression is that this wheelbase weighs more than I could have ever imagined. Just the wheelbase alone weighs around 20 pounds or just under 9 kilograms, but before we take a deeper look into it, let's unbox everything else. This is the RS Alcantara wheel rim. On its box you see a large graphic of the wheel itself. You can also see other iterations of this wheel offered by Moza Racing. This includes a leather wrapped wheel similar to this one, and two other GT style wheel rims covered in Alcantara or leather. If I could choose one, I'd probably go with the leather D-shaped wheel, but I don't think my opinion matters much anyway. Upon opening it up, the packaging is pretty much identical to that of the wheelbases. Everything comes tightly packaged in styrofoam, and the wheel rim itself is stored in a little black pouch to ensure it arrives without a scratch, and it certainly did, as you'll see shortly. Next up we have the pedals. The box follows a near identical design where it showcases the product itself, as well as some of its features including its load cell brake pedal, aluminum build, adjustability, and many other things which I'll mention in the review. Opening it up, all three pedals came packaged separately and individually wrapped. A black box containing additional springs and stoppers of this wheel is also included. The optional mounting bracket and telemetry data display pretty much follow the exact same story in terms of their packaging and unboxings, but you pretty much get the point by now. Everything arrived intact and without a scratch, and it's obvious that Moza Racing placed heavy attention on their packaging. Now that we got everything unboxed, let's take a more in-depth look at everything. As I mentioned previously, the wheelbase weighs a lot, and I seriously mean that. This is the first time I've ever held onto a piece of sim racing hardware and felt genuinely intimidated, as dumb as I know that sounds. Absolutely no plastic is used, as everything is built from an aluminum alloy body, and I have to say this is the best looking wheelbase out in the sim racing market if you ask me. Everything from its feel to its shape to its color just screams for your attention and looks incredibly cool and aggressive in my opinion. Again, this is only my opinion, but feel free to let me know what you all think of this wheelbase's design down in the comments below. On the bottom of the wheelbase you can find 4 hard mounting holes for when attaching this onto your cockpit. Yeah, you will want to, and to be honest probably will literally need to, have this thing attached onto a very solid cockpit. On the back you see where everything connects. The wheel connects via USB and only works on PC. Here you can also connect the optional emergency stop button, which I don't have, and the power supply, which as previously mentioned is huge. In terms of my first impressions, this wheelbase looks and feels a lot better than I was expecting, and weighs enough to be used in a serious workout. In essence, I'm looking forward to testing this wheelbase out, although I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a tad bit scared. To go along with this wheelbase is arguably one of the coolest features of Moza Racing's entire lineup. This 5-inch digital dash sits on top of the wheelbase and displays all types of telemetry data. I'm yet to test it out and see how it works in game, but from a design perspective it's sleek and modern and packs a big display. It too is built entirely from aluminum alloy and feels like a serious bit of gear. I'm looking forward to testing out how useful this actually is in game, how it looks, and how quick it is to respond. Now let's move on to the wheel rim, which I'll also begin by saying weighed a lot more than I was expecting. Upon taking it out, it looks like they ripped it off of some real life supercar, but to be fair, at its $500 price tag I was expecting nothing less. Its button box and paddle shifters are made from forged carbon fiber. Its frame is built from brushed aluminum alloy. It's wrapped in Italian Alcantara. It has gold plated accents around the badge and on the quick release, and features a small LED screen. It's 13 inches in diameter and sits well on my hands. I will say, however, that it felt as if I had to really stretch my fingers to reach the paddle shifters, but my thoughts on that might change once I have this attached to the wheelbase and on my rig. Overall, this wheel rim impressed me in nearly every aspect, and especially with just its looks. I'll talk more about its in-game performance, ergonomics, dials, buttons, and features in a separate review, but for now I'd say that it certainly looks and feels as I would expect coming at its price point. Dare I say it even feels more expensive than that? Maybe, but we'll see. The same feeling of extreme high quality and attention to detail is seen on all three pedals. They're all constructed from aluminum alloy and feature no plastic. I'm a huge fan of how they look. They're not too flashy, but with its subtle color accents and overall shape, looks like a professional set of sim racing pedals. I'm not really sure why mine didn't come with the pedal base however, which means I'll have to attach them separately onto my cockpit. Not a big deal for me, but I'm just a little bit confused because on the graphics shown on the box, it does have the pedal base. In terms of how they feel to push down, I'll talk more about that in the review once I can actually set them down properly, as I don't think using my hands to push them down will do them any justice. I'm also not strong enough to push down the brake pedal with my hand. It requires far too much force to push down. Talking about force, with the included stoppers and springs that come with the pedal set, you're also able to fine tune and adjust the resistance of them to your liking. Again, I'm yet to test this all out like I've said many times. These are only my first impressions, not a review of any sort. To end everything off, I also received this aluminum mounting bracket, which I believe is primarily used if you have an aluminum profile cockpit. My GT Trak doesn't require it, but regardless, it feels solid and of high quality, and is color matched to the rest of Moza Racing's products. Moza Racing's offerings are geared towards the most prestigious of sim racing hardware, which as you would expect also come with a significant price tag. I've only been able to say very few critical things on all of this gear so far, which is extremely unusual for me. For the price they're charging however, I'd expect nothing less, but I am very glad to say that so far it's surpassing my expectations. Granted, I'm still yet to test anything out, which is what matters most, but so far, so good, and that's all I'm gonna say. Thank you all for watching, stay safe, and have a fantastic rest of your day.